Hey everyone, welcome to another video by Simply Learn. In this video on Pygame, we will teach you how to develop games using the Python module called Pygame. So, let's get started. Before we dive into the video, let's get a general overview of what you can expect to learn from it, what's in it for you, and what will you know by the end of this video. The first thing that we will teach you is what exactly is Pygame. You will understand what exactly the Pygame module is and the various ways that you can use it to develop games. Next, we will teach you how to install Pygame on your system. Then, we will take a look at the basic components of Pygame. And finally, we will be using the Pygame module and Python programming to develop a Flappy Bird game which you can play in real life on your own system. So, let's get started. So what exactly is Pygame? Pygame is a cross-platform Python software which was made specifically for video game designing. It includes graphics, visuals, and sounds which can be used to enhance the game which is being designed by you. Officially written by Pete Shiners to replace PySDL, Pygame is suitable to create client-side applications that can be potentially wrapped in a standalone executable. To learn Pygame, it is required to have a basic knowledge of Python. Now, how do you go about installing Pygame on your system? To install Pygame, you can use the standard pip install command in your command prompt. Then, you can import it into your program with the import command prompt in Python itself. Before installing Pygame, Python should be installed in the system. It is good to have Python 3.6.1 or above versions because it is much friendlier to beginners and additionally runs way faster. Now, what are the basic components of Pygame? The first and most important component of Pygame is the pygame.init module. This is used to initialize all imported Pygame modules. Using this, you can call all Pygame modules at once into your program. Before you can do much with Pygame, you need to initialize it. The most common way to do this is to use pygame.init. This will initialize all the modules in Pygame with just one single command. Not all Pygame modules need to be initialized, but this will automatically initialize the ones that are important and the ones that have to be initialized. You can also easily initialize each Pygame module by hand. The next thing that you need to know about is the display surface. The display surface is a black screen which acts as a canvas for you to design your games on. All the game components will appear on this very screen. Now, Pygame has a single display surface that is either contained in a window or runs full screen. Once you create the display, you can treat it as a regular surface. Changes are not immediately visible on screen. You must choose one of the two flipping functions to update the actual display. The Pygame display can actually be initialized by one of several modes. By default, the display is a basic software-driven frame buffer. You can request special modules like hardware acceleration and OpenGL support. Now Pygame can only have a single display active at any time. Creating a new display will close the previous display. Once the display surface is created, the functions from this module affect the single existing display. The surface becomes invalid if the module is uninitialized. If a new display mode is set, the existing surface will automatically switch to operate on the new display. The next concept is the game loop. The game loop is a piece of code that does three things. It will handle events, update game events, and draw game state to the screen. The game loop will basically run until a condition is met or until the game ends. And finally, you have pygame.quit. The pygame.quit function does the opposite of the init function and completely deactivates the pygame library. It will automatically uninitialize all pygame modules that have previously been initialized. When the Python interpreter shuts down, this method is called regardless, so your program does not always need it, except when it wants to terminate its pygame resources and continue. It is safe to call this function more than once, as repeated calls have no effect whatsoever. Now please do note that calling pygame.quit will not exit your program. Consider letting your program end in the same way a normal Python program will end. It will just help you break out of the game loop. Now, let's see how we can create a Flappy Bird game with the help of the Python pygame module. So the first thing that you're going to need is to call all of your required modules. So over here, we have imported the random and the sys module. We've imported the pygame module. And we've also imported all the modules which are present in pygame.locals. So let's run this so all the modules get imported into our program. There we go. Now all of our pygame modules have been imported. Now the first thing that we're doing is that we're setting global variables for the game. The window width and the window height basically determine how big our surface is going to be. After that, we're going to display our window. Now you can call or create a window by using pygame.display.setMode. And within set mode, you set your window parameters. So you set your window width and your window height. So here we will be creating a window of width 600 and of height 499. The elevation will basically tell you how far up from the bottom of your screen the window is going to be. We're going to be creating an empty tuple of your game images, and we're going to be having an FPS of 32. You can obviously change your FPS speed. Now all of these images that we're importing have already been downloaded onto your system. So all of these images are already here, and they're in the same folder that we've stored our Flappy Bird game in, which is why to call them you simply have to write the name of the image and initialize it to a variable. So because we're creating Flappy Bird, we're going to have a pipe image, a background image, a bird, and obviously a base which is going to be a sea level and which you have to prevent the bird from touching. So let's run this and create nothing but our pygame window. So here, as you can see, a new window has come up. This so far is just our pygame window. Nothing has been shown on it because we haven't initialized any of these parameters into our window as of yet. So far, the only thing we've done is create a basic window which doesn't have any of the parameters on it, with a width of 600 and a height of 499. Now here we are going to be coming into our Python game loop. So the first thing that we talk about in our Python game is that you have to have some initialized variables, right? And you have to create some important components of the game. So the first thing that you have is the Flappy game, which is the game itself. The next thing that we have here is to check if our game is over. This is going to happen under two conditions. One is that the bird hits the pipe, and the second condition is that the bird falls into the sea. And finally, we will have a module to create pipes of random height as and when a bird goes further into the screen. So basically, the pipes will be created as the user keeps going and not beforehand. And finally, here we have our main game loop, which is going to be calling all of these various functions that we've created and which is going to terminate their runtime the second that the game gets over. And then following this, we're going to be exiting the Flappy Bird game. So here pygame.quit, as you can see, as we've already told you, will close all of the pygame modules that you've already initialized in your program. and will uninitialize all of these modules, while sys.exit will exit the program itself. Now, as we said, the pygame.quit doesn't quit the program, it only uninitializes all the pygame modules, which is exactly why we're using sys.exit to close our window and exit our program. Now, the first thing that we're going to be looking at is the Flappy Bird game itself. The main things that are happening in our Flappy game is, first of all, we're initializing variables and creating two pipes by calling the create pipe function. So at any given point, we know that we want our bird to fly in between two pipes. That is the main challenge here, which is exactly why we're initializing two pipes here, the first pipe and the second pipe. And this is done by calling the create pipe function. Now after this, we're going to be creating two lists. One is of the lower pipes and the other is of the upper pipes. Now, as we already talked about, we are going to have two pipes consecutively. Yeah, the first pipe is going to be on top and the second pipe is going to be at the bottom. So that's exactly what these two lists contain. They contain the height at which the down pipes and the up pipes are going to be. Or basically, they contain the coordinates at which these down pipes and up pipes will be displayed at. Now, pipe vel x is basically defining the pipe velocity along your x-axis, and the bird velocity, which is along the y-axis, is defined over here. So basically, your bird is going to have two different parameters. One is that it's going to move up and down, which is its velocity along the y-axis. Another is it's going to move across, which is its velocity across the x-axis. Now, at the same time, the pipes also have to keep moving, and they have to exit this frame. So that's what all of this is defined by. The bird acceleration is defined over here. This is the parameter that you're going to be using to define your bird acceleration along the y-axis. That is basically going to happen when you stop clicking and the bird starts falling downwards. Now the velocity while flapping, or the x-axis velocity for the bird, is defined over here. Now the bird is only going to be flapping when you're going to be pressing the key. So that's basically what you're going to be checking here. If your event takes place, which basically means that if you have key events, and that's exactly what pygame.event.get is doing. It's going to be getting all the key functions that are taking place on your keyboard simultaneously. So for event in pygame.event.get will basically help you get the keystrokes which are happening. If event type is equal to quit, or event type is equal to key down, and event.key is equal to k.escape, you're going to quit your game and you're going to close down your program. So there are two ways that you can quit your game. You can either press quit or you can press key down and escape. Now if your event type is equal to key down and your event.key is equal to space or k up. So this is basically what you're going to be using to make sure that your bird is moving. There are two main keys which are going to be coming into play over here. You can press the key down as well as the space key, or the key down and the up key. So over here, this is going to move your bird vertically, and it's also going to make sure that your bird flaps its wings, which is where the bird velocity, which are all these parameters, will come into play. So this will basically help your bird move forward. So basically what is happening here is that we're going to be getting the keys that the user has pressed, and if they've pressed the quit key, we're going to quit the program, and if they've pressed key down and space or key down and the up key, we're going to make sure that the bird starts moving in the y-axis as well as it starts flapping its wings and moving along in the x-axis. Now this is the function that checks for whether your bird has crashed into pipes or not. This is basically also going to define whether your game is over or not, right? Because once the bird touches a pipe, the game is basically finished. So game over here is game over, which is another function that we are defining here. So basically what's happening over here is that you're going to be checking if the game is over by checking the horizontal and vertical position of the bird and the positions of the up and down pipes. If the game is over, then you will return over here and you will basically quit the whole game. Now after this, we need to keep track of the score of the player. Now how that can be done is that you get your position of your bird and the position of your pipe, and if the bird has crossed the pipe, then you basically increase your score by 1. If the current velocity of your bird is less than the maximum velocity and the bird has not flapped or you haven't pressed your key, in that case, the bird is basically going to be tumbling downwards. Now, another thing that you have to consider is that the user has stopped pressing the key, right? So the bird is not going to be flapping its wings. If this is the case, then the bird has to free fall towards the sea basically. So this is how we're going to be checking it. If the velocity of the bird is less than the max velocity and the bird has not flapped its wings, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be increasing the present velocity of the bird in increments with an acceleration speed that we've already defined over here. So if the bird starts flapping its wings, the velocity will steadily increase with this acceleration. Now, if the bird has flapped its wings, after that, we need to set the bird flap function to false again. Otherwise, it will continue being true, which is not the case. So we have to keep switching it, right? The bird flap will only be true when the user has pressed the key. After that, it immediately has to go back to a false variable. So that is basically what we're doing here. We're going to change the bird flap to false immediately after it has become true. Now after this, your pipes will keep moving to the left. In this game, the pipes are the ones that are moving horizontally. The bird is not moving horizontally. The bird is only moving vertically. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be increasing the x coordinate of our pipe, and the pipe is not going to randomly start increasing in height, right? So we're not going to be touching the y coordinates of the pipe. Of the upper and the lower pipe, we're going to slowly increment the x coordinate by the velocity factor that we've already initialized previously. So the pipes will slowly keep moving by this velocity factor towards the left hand side of the screen. A new pipe will be added when the first is about to cross the leftmost part of the screen. So basically, each pipe is covering about 5 points on the x-axis, and once it is less than 5 but still greater than 0, we're going to create a new pipe. And we're going to append it to our up pipes list. And we'll also be creating another pipe and we're going to append it to our down pipes list. Now, if the pipe is out of the screen, we basically have to remove it. And this we're going to do by popping out the pipe from the up pipe list. So far, we've looked at how we can generate pipes for our window, the velocity of the bird when it is flapping its wings, and what is going to happen when it stops flapping its wings, handling the key pressing events that the user is inputting, checking whether our bird has crashed or not, updating our score, moving the pipes to the left, and creating new pipes once the previous pipe has left the screen. Now, the only thing that's left to do is build a game image window, because we've dealt with almost all the game logic that we need. So now we're basically going to start building our Pygame window. So first we're going to be putting the image all throughout the screen. We're going to be rendering the up pipe and down pipe at the respective positions on the screen. And then we're going to be putting the sea level and the bird on the screen. Another thing that you need to do is fetch the digits of the score and display them on your screen. So the digits, again, all of the images have already been included in our Flappy Bird folder, and all you have to do is display them onto the screen. To do this, all that we have to do is loop through our numbers list and display the scoreboard images on the side of our window. And this is the position at which they'll be displayed. So here we're just displaying the images on the screen. The offset is again just a variable that we've created here, and that's the variable at which we'll be displaying the images. Now every time this code changes, you're going to have to update the game window. So that is exactly what you're doing here. You're just updating your display game window. And as we talked about, every time your display changes, you can't have two displays open at once, so the game will move on to this new display window. And again, we're just over here, we're just setting the frames per second. And that brings us to the end of everything that we need to do. This is the basic game logic that we're going to be needing. So this whole function just defines your game logic. Let's finish running this. And your game logic has been initialized into your program now. Now the next thing that we have to do is check if our bird is above sea level or if it has hit any of the pipes. So this is what you use the isGameOver function for. So the isGameOver function will have 4 different parameters as input. So the isGameOver function has 4 parameters. You're going to be giving the horizontal and the vertical height of the bird and the height and position of the up pipes and the down pipes. Now there are basically 3 conditions which lead to a situation of the game being over. If the difference between our elevation and a certain height is less than the vertical, it means that the bird has crossed its boundaries. And that is why the game is over, which is where you return true. The another thing is that the bird hits either the up pipes or one of the down pipes. And that's what we're checking here. Either the elevation of the bird has decreased and there's no way that it can rise up again, and hence the game will be over, or the bird has hit one of the pipes on top or one of the bottom pipes. So that's basically what we're doing here. We're getting the height of the up pipe and we're checking if the vertical height of the bird is less than the pipe height plus the pipe width. So basically it can hit the pipe anywhere, right? So if this vertical height is less than this parameter, as well as if the bird doesn't hit the pipe horizontally. So that's what we're basically checking here. We're checking to see if the bird has hit the pipe horizontally or vertically. Then you will return true. And the same thing will happen for the down pipes. You will check if the bird has hit the pipe horizontally or vertically at any point. So let's run this game over function. The next thing that you have to do is the create pipe function. Now creating pipes is actually quite easy. All we have to do is fetch the height of the pipe using the getHeight function, and after that generate a random number between 0 to any number such that the height of the pipe should be adjustable to our window height. So there's only a certain amount where you can have the pipe visible, and that has to be above sea level. So we're going to be generating like a random number between 0 and this number, like 0 and the width of your screen from height to just above the sea level. And then we're going to be subtracting it by 1.2 into offset, because there's a huge chance that we get like a pipe which covers the entire screen. So to prevent that, we're going to decrease the height of the pipes a little. And then after that, all we have to do is push our pipes into a dictionary along with their x-axis and y-axis coordinates. So this is basically what your pipe list is going to look like. It's going to be a dictionary which consists of an upper pipe and a lower pipe, and along with their coordinate values. So let's run this. Now this is basically the game loop that we're going to be using. This is going to call our various functions again and again until the game basically gets over, which is defined over here. So this function is going to run, or this is your basic game start. It's going to keep running until a certain condition is met, and let's see what that condition is. So over here, the different things that we're doing initially is that we're initializing our program using pygame.init. We're basically calling all the modules of the pygame library. Then after that, we're just setting the frames per second, displaying the title of the game on top of the game window, pygame.display.setCaption. So far we only have a pygame window, right? This is basically going to initialize the background images and everything onto this window. We're gonna start loading all of our different images into our game. So we have different images for the scores, the Flappy Bird image, sea level, background and pipe image, and we're going to convert it into a form suitable to display onto our window. This is basically done using the image.load.convert alpha function. So over here, you're basically going to be loading your image and converting it into a form which is suitable to be displayed onto your screen. After that, we'll basically be doing a couple of basic startup things such as printing welcome to Flappy Bird game and press space or enter to start the game. And the second you see this, you know that this has started running properly. Now this is where you have the main game starting. So over here, you're basically going to be setting the position of the bird, and horizontally we're going to be setting it at 1/5 of the window width. You can basically set the bird wherever you want to. Then after that, we're going to be adding the sea level, and over here we've initialized ground as 0, while true for event in pygame.event.get. Basically, while we keep getting a keystroke from the user, this whole loop is going to keep running. And what exactly is happening in this loop over here, basically we are running the program until the user stops or exits the game. Otherwise, we have basically created an infinite while loop over here. So if the event type is equal to quit, we're going to quit the game and exit the program. If the event type is key down, then we are going to be calling Flappy game. So this is basically us initializing the game start conditions. If the second after the game starts, the user clicks on quit, then we're going to quit the game and exit the program. Otherwise, if the user has pressed the key down, the space key or the key up, then we're going to be calling our Flappy game function. If the user hasn't pressed any key and nothing has happened, then we're just going to have a basic game display, and we're going to be displaying the background image, the Flappy Bird and the sea level onto our screen. This is just to keep refreshing the screen, and this is basically to set the frame rate of our screen. So let's run this. Now, if we look at our Flappy Bird game, you can see that we have all of the parameters initialized. We have a background, we have a sea level, and we have a bird over here. We've typed Flappy Bird game on top, and I'm going to press the enter key to start. So far as you can see, our pipes have appeared here. So we already know the function behind this. We keep getting our pipes, and the second that the bird crosses a pipe, the screen gets refreshed and our score gets updated. So if you notice here clearly, if I go slow enough, and if you notice, the second I did this, the display window actually got refreshed. And the second the pipe goes out of screen, as you can see, it gets erased and a new pipe enters. So the second this one pipe goes out, a new pipe gets created. Now, as we've talked about, there are three basic conditions. One is you hit the bottom pipe and the game ends. Another is you hit the top pipe anywhere and the game ends. And the next one is your bird falls below a certain level and the game ends. So these conditions are working so far. Our scoreboard also keeps getting initialized. Another condition that you might want to check for. Oh yeah, and as you can see, another thing that you notice is the velocity, right? So the bird is technically not moving. The bird's position relative to where it started from remains exactly the same. As you can see here, the only thing that is moving is its position on the y-axis. Apart from this, the pipes are moving. And do you remember the acceleration parameter that we have? This is where you can see it come into play. So I stopped, and the way the bird free falls, all of this is because of the acceleration parameter that we set. So this is basically how you can use Pygame to, create a game. Now let us quit the game. I pressed the escape key and the entire game has quit. So over here, system exit took place, as you can see. So this is all the logic that we've used behind creating a Flappy Bird game. And as you can see, we've used the Pygame module to create it. And with that, we come to the end of another video by Simplilearn. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, a thumbs up would be really appreciated. Also, here's your reminder to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon for more on the latest technologies and trends. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more from Simplilearn.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.